morning, everyone. I hope you're all keeping well. It's a kind of a dull day here in Drogheda. It's the 26th of September. I don't know where September has gone. It's kind of flown by. I suppose with kids going back to school and everyone kind of getting back into a normal winter routine, it's one of those things where we all keep our heads down and try and get through it all. So lots of coffee today. So we know Facebook last week, so I hope we didn't miss too much. But this week we've got a nice little compact session where we've had some really interesting questions come in, and we've got a question from a young person today as well, which is really interesting as well. It's nice to kind of get the little change up and try and view things from the perspective of the kids, not just about what we as parents have to deal with. So look, we'll crack straight in. So episode 31, I can't believe it. Right, kids parties. Now my oldest has started primary one. She has been bringing home party invitations, it seems daily. I've had to buy 4 separate kids' birthday presents for just this weekend alone, and my own daughter's birthday party is only a couple of weeks away, and selfishly that is my highest priority on the present buying budget. And then there are some parties that require fancy dress where I have to buy a specific outfit, and the done thing seems to be to invite the whole class to the party. For my daughter's birthday, I told her she could pick 9 friends from school, and to be honest, she struggled to think of 9 kids she played with. She's only been at school for 4 weeks. I've already had comments from some parents wondering why their child wasn't invited when so-and-so's was, etc., and tried to explain that I wanted my daughter to have the birthday party she wanted with people she knew. So my questions are, so this is a 2-pronged question. Is it really necessary to invite every child in the class to the party? And do you think it's unfair for the other children who she doesn't know or play with? And also, how much is enough to spend on presents when you're buying so many? Okay, so there's actually 3 questions in there. Let's deal with the first one, right? Is it really necessary to invite every child in the class to the party? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Parents, stop putting yourselves under so much pressure and stop putting your kids under so much pressure. It's one of those things. A lot of schools now seem to be moving away from allowing kids to invite children. So what you do as a parent is you contact the parents individually and invite the kids that you want, so that there isn't that thing of such and such feels left out when the party invites are going out. So 1, if you feel strongly enough about it, can you approach the school and say, look, what is the policy when it comes to putting invitations in the school bag for kids? Because we don't want kids feeling left out, but at the same time, you don't want to be inviting maybe 25, 30 kids to your house, because it's pretty crazy. Especially, like you say, when they haven't become friends or they don't know each other. So absolutely not. Don't worry about that. And if anybody says anything to you, just go, I do what I do for my kids. You do what you do for your kids. That's fine. Right? So just be calm in the knowledge that you're doing right by your child. I suppose your next question is, do you think it's unfair for the other children who she doesn't know or play with? No, I don't. It's life, and there's going to be natural friendship groups are going to kick into place, and we can get worked up about kids being left out and this, that, and the other, but kids find their own friends. They find their own groups of people that they want to be with, and that's okay too. So it's not your responsibility to make sure that the other kids have got friends. Now, that's not to say that you can't encourage your kid to play with whoever comes up and tries to play with them in the schoolyard. Like that's good. That's trying to encourage them to be nice, friendly people. But at the same time, you can take care of other people's kids when it comes to whether or not they're building up a friendship group. And what you would hope is that the school are actually encouraging different groups of people to play together so that they all become friends and they all get to know each other. So I'd say you don't need to worry about that. And then how much is enough to spend? It's interesting. I did hear of, and I can't remember what school it was, where the Parents Association, I think, or maybe it was just the particular class of the person I was speaking to, where they all agreed on a maximum budget of €5 or £5 or $5 for presents. Because, like you're saying, you're buying 4 presents for one weekend. It's very expensive. It all adds up. So, what I'd suggest is, maybe bring it to the school parents' council, see if they have any advice or if they buy into it and see what they think. Where the school agrees, and if that's not possible, maybe if I'm going to assume you have maybe the contact details for a lot of the parents now, because a lot of schools would give out the details of other parents. Maybe you could contact them all as a group and set up a WhatsApp group or whatever it might be, and say, look, we've got whatever amount of kids in the classroom. This, we have to be realistic. There's a good chance in the first year that most kids are going to get invited to most parties. And what if we all set a limit of €5 or no presents at all? That's something else that you could do. I know in the past, when we've invited big groups ourselves for our own kids, we've said sometimes don't bring presents. Now that doesn't mean that people don't bring presents. Sometimes a lot of people will do it. But what I'd say to you is, I think what I liked about the €5 was that there was a token there that the child was actually getting a present, but it's not going to break the bank. So could you suggest that to everyone else and see what they say? And if not, at 5 years of age, I'm going to assume, €10, £10 is more than enough. They're going to get so much, and especially if they're inviting every child in the classroom, like that's a ton of presents. That's a ton of money being spent on them. So look, we have to be realistic here and not worry about this stuff so much, because the kids just want to have their friends around. And yeah, look, they love getting presents. Who doesn't? But at the same time, we have to be realistic about building their expectation levels up beyond what is necessary, where you don't want to get into a point where your child's going, I want to invite all 30 people in my class, so I'll get 30 presents, as well as presents from all my aunts and uncles and relatives and friends and parents outside of the school. So, let's just pare it all back. And I think all parents have a responsibility to not get to a point where they're actually just spending hundreds, like literally hundreds and hundreds, on birthday presents for kids in other schools. So I think I do like the idea of the fiver limit, and bring it to the parents and see what they say. If someone says no, that's fine. What you might get is half the people will say yes, I'm happy with that, and that's okay too. Or even if only 2 of you decide, yeah, that's what we're doing, that's okay too. Just spend your fiver. Okay. It's interesting how the parties kind of creep up every year, and there's always a rush of them at a certain time. Okay, our second question. Is it okay to lie to your child? I'm talking about little fibs that parents often tell, like if you keep picking your nose, it'll fall off, and when the ice cream van plays music, it means that they've sold out. Are they harmless enough, or is the truth always the best policy? Sometimes it's easier just to make something silly up than sit through an argument or tantrum about something so small. Or even just lies like when your child asks if fairies or unicorns are real, and you say yes because you want them to keep the childhood magic as long as possible. It's amazing how many times this debate comes up from people. It's absolutely okay to tell these things to your kids because it's fun. It's fun. They are children. Like, they're not mini adults. Like, I've had disagreements with people over this who will say, you need to be completely honest with your kids. No, you don't. Their brains haven't fully developed to a point where they can comprehend adult understanding. This is not being horrible to kids. This is not treating them with disrespect. This is just giving them information at a level that is appropriate for them. So if you choose not to give your kids any lies at all, if you choose to just tell them the truth all the time, that's your choice. But don't don't put pressure on other people to always have to tell the truth. Like little white lies are absolutely fine because it's something that actually gets passed down from generation to generation, where you'll hear yourself saying the same things that your kids. What's going to happen is the wind is going to blow and keep your face the way it is right now when they've got a stroppy look on their face. It's just a bit of fun. Okay, it's just a bit of fun. We need to allow our kids to be kids and just have the crack. And if they want to believe in unicorns and if they want to believe in fairies, absolutely fine. You don't need to tell them. You absolutely don't need to tell them. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. Let's take this pressure off ourselves, and more importantly, take the pressure off our kids to have to live in an adult world. They're going to live as adults for a lot longer than they are as children. So let them just have that fun and freedom to believe in whatever they want. So what if your kids are happy with the Easter Bunny? So what if your kids are happy with Santa Claus? So what if your kids are happy with the Tooth Fairy? What is the harm? Like, honestly, what is the harm? Like, are they going, like, if they turn around to you when they're 25 or 26 and, get really pissed off at you and say, I can't believe you told me that, my nose would fall off, I kept picking my nose, and here I am worried about it at 25 years of age. You've done a pretty good job because they've got feck all else wrong in their lives, if that's what the height of their issue is, right? And you can apologise. You can say, I'm sorry, if it's hurt you that much, I apologise. But at least you had a bit of fun as a kid believing in whatever it was you believed in. So stop worrying about that stuff, people. Let's let our kids be kids and just let them have some fun. Jesus. Well, they will have enough stresses in their lives for long enough. Let's just let them be kids and enjoy having fun times and not worrying about all the truth all the time. They don't need it. So I got a bit passionate about that one. I just think sometimes, people seem to think that kids have the ability to comprehend adult things all the time, and it's just too much pressure on them. It's too much pressure. It's about telling them everything that's going on in your life and their lives. They can't deal with it. They can't necessarily understand what's happening. Let's just leave them to it. Rant over on that one. Okay, last one today. And the last one comes from a 9-year-old girl. Okay, why do parents, that's not my 9-year-old girl, why do parents always tell you to get off electronics and go outside? Damn you parents, trying to keep your kids off the electronics when you're addicted to them yourself and on it the whole time, and you need to go and spend time outside with your friends and not be always worrying about what's happening on Facebook. Our kids learn more from what they see than what they hear. So if we are telling them that they need to get off electronics because they're spending too much time on electronics, maybe we're spending too much time on electronics because they're looking at us and they're seeing how to live as adults. So maybe we need to get outside and put the electronics away as well. So for this girl, what I'd say to you is your parents are just trying to keep you healthy and happy and have a nice balanced lifestyle. So you get a bit of time on your electronics, but it's really important to be outside with your friends, having fun, playing games, just being a child and enjoying life without the stresses of electronics all the time, because I've seen it happen. Kids getting overly excited when they're playing games, and then it takes them a while to calm themselves down and deal with the frustration that's going on with them. So that's why your mums and dads do it. It's part of the job, and you will probably do the same with your kids as well. So what I'd say to you is just go along with it. Don't complain, don't moan, don't give out about it. It's just life. But parents out there, do the same. Put the electronics down, get outside, play, have fun. If the weather is rubbish, raincoats and wellies have been invented. They're wonderful things. Get out and just have some fun with your kids. I think that's a nice place to leave it for today. Hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will chat to you next week. See you.